Hey, how's it going? This is Kurt. I'm trying out this thing called Facebook Live. So I actually tried it a few minutes ago and it kind of crapped out on me. So hopefully it's working right now. But I just wanted to take a few moments to tell you why I'm even going live. I'm going live because number one, I want to try this because I've never done it. But number two, I want to start regularly sharing books and resources with you all that get sent to me and giving you first impressions or thorough impressions, depending on my experience with them. And I'll always let you know kind of where I'm at as far as understanding and experiencing them. So right now, I just want to take a couple of minutes and talk about Greek. Now, Greek has been the thorn in my flesh. If you have ever looked at a Greek New Testament, you kind of know why. It's not easy. Greek's actually a pretty challenging language in a lot of ways. And one of the things that was true for me is in seminary, I took Greek and had to take 2 semesters of it, and you're exposed to it and all this stuff. And by the end of it, I was kind of done. And so I went back to pastoral ministry and didn't touch it. And then I did a lot of Greek at the University of Washington in my second master's degree. And I've had this commitment that if I'm going to really be into this thing, I'm going to try really hard to keep it. And I'm not always consistent. I'm not always great at it. But one of the things that's really helpful is great tools. And so I just want to share with you a couple of tools that have been helpful for me. And while I do that, I'll give you kind of what catalyzed this idea anyway. Basically, I have a buddy I meet with on a regular basis, Wednesdays right now, and we read Greek together. That's one of the ways we're keeping this going. We just meet up, talk about life and Greek. It's pretty amazing. So I'm thankful for my friend Tim. And we're reading 2 things right now. We're reading this book in ancient Greek. It's called Daphnis and Chloe. Daphnis and Chloe. And no, I did not name my daughter after this Chloe, but it's a love story. It's hard in some respects compared to a lot of New Testament Greek. And so it really gets me outside of biblical studies in a good way. And so slowly but surely, we're making our way through this thing. And it's been a great resource. So we also, though, starting this week, have said, let's do some New Testament. So we read a little bit of Philemon today. And my favorite reading, Greek reader, I should say, of the New Testament is a Reader's Greek New Testament, 3rd edition. Zondervan puts this thing out. And I absolutely have fallen in love with this thing. You know, they sent this to me a few months ago, and I didn't know how I was going to feel about it, but I really, really appreciate it. I want to show you why. Here's a couple of things. So I'm going to open to a random page here. And what I want you to notice, if you're a Greek reading person, especially someone who comes out of like seminary and wants to keep going, this is awesome. Look at this page, right? If you can see it there, the font is really readable. It's not small. It's spaced well. I love that about this. I don't feel like my eyes are straining. I'm in my mid-30s now, and I feel like my eyes have started to strain a little more. But the second really cool feature of this one, and like other readers that are out there, and by reader, I mean at the bottom, you're going to see that words that don't appear in the New Testament more than, I think it's 30 times, are glossed at the bottom so that you don't have to, like, every time there's a word you don't recognize, go find a dictionary, go track it down, etc. And so right at the bottom, and it's super clear and clean. So I really have said, of all the readers I've had, this is my fave. So if you are looking for a new edition of your Greek New Testament, check this out. It's super helpful. I really love it. And that leads me to my second thing I wanted to share with you, second resource. And this was put out, I think, last year sometime. I mean, it's fairly new. This is the Septuagint. Yes, the reader's edition of the Septuagint and it's put out by Hendrickson. There's a fancy logo there. And it's this thing's hard to even hold, right? 2 massive volumes, and it has the exact same kind of format. It's a different publisher, but I've noticed, the font is actually fairly clean as well. And as you go into this guy, right, it has the same sort of approach to the notes there, right? So that is something I absolutely love. So I just wanted to highly recommend those two things. Oh, I have a question here. Is that one based on the NIV decisions or the USB? You know, I don't remember offhand. I read that when I got it. I should probably know that. But let's see. If I thumb through, I can probably tell you in like 30 seconds. Let me triple check here. The translate. Let's see. So yeah. So the UBS text. So it says the Committee on Bible Translation, which is the body responsible for the translation of the NIV, reviewed the UBS text, and somewhat unsurprisingly, their independent scholarship led them to favor different readings in the case of some selected variants. The NIV was based on variant readings, yada, yada, yada. So if I remember right, they have kind of adopted UBS 5, some of Nestle Allen, and I think they've kind of made their own sort of kind of approach here. So I think that they didn't just go with the NIV adoptions, but this edition of the Reader's Greek New Testament has fewer points that vary from that text. Okay, so yeah, so they've kind of made their own sort of decision there. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. So yeah, that is what I understand so far about these two. And like I said, I haven't spent much time in the Septuagint. It's a lot harder. It's also a lot heavier. But if I were going to grab any reader's edition of the New Testament, dude, this by far is what you're going to want. So hope that's helpful. You're going to see all kinds of random live videos of impressions and or reviews, depending on my familiarity with stuff that I am sharing with you. So those are coming. They won't all be nerdy like this, but hopefully you've enjoyed the nerdiness. So hope you're having a great evening. If you're on the East Coast or wherever time, yeah, I don't know. If you're in a different country, you probably have morning. I don't know what time it is everywhere, but here it is about 4:30 in the afternoon. Hope you're having a good evening, afternoon, or day. Talk to you soon. Peace.